How many of you have been on social media in the last 5 minutes? Today, I want to explain the impact social media has on our world. I want to show how it can benefit you with businesses and relationships, but have a downfall with mental health and bullying. First, let's talk about how people have potential for cyberbullying and online harassment. Facts about cyberbullying: Indianapolis MD said more than 50% of kids admit someone has said hurtful things to them online. They also said in a national survey of 10 to 17-year-olds, twice as many children indicated they were victims of bullying. Pew Research Center said 40% of users have personally experienced online harassment. They also said social media was most frequently cited as a scene of online harassment. Next, let's discuss the business and friendship you can make through social media. Social media marketing for business says more than 70% of people have positive experiences with businesses on social media. They also say 81% of people research products and services on Instagram. I can see why people want to create businesses on social media, because every single time I'm on any social media platform and I see an ad, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And I immediately buy it. So I think it's really good for businesses. Social media for community engagement says social media platforms offer opportunities to connect with like-minded individuals, form relationships, and build a sense of belonging. They say it offers ways to communicate and build communities. I can say that this is true in my perspective because I have friends that move to Mexico, and the only way I can connect with them is on a social media platform. And also, friends that I make through vacations, band trips, any extracurricular activities, I have to connect with them through social media. So I think it's really good to make friendships on social media. Another thing we could talk about is how social media impacts our mental health. How social media affects your teen's mental health says those who use social media more than 3 hours a day face twice the risk of having negative mental health outcomes, including depression and anxiety symptoms. I think they said that it can cause anxiety and depression, feeling of isolation, and contributing to poor sleep. I can relate to depression from social media because every single time I get on a social media app, it will immediately pop up a model of some type, and I'll always compare myself to them, thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I could be like them, why don't I look like them? But as I've grown up, I realized that they use apps to make their bodies look good, make their bodies look perfect, and honestly, I kind of just blew it off. I was like, oh, whatever, they use apps, so I can see how people get depression from it, and especially making videos on social media platforms, people will always make fun of you, so I can see how people would have depression and anxiety. I can also see feeling of isolation, because whenever your friends have social media and they hang out and you get left out, or you can't go to wherever they're going, and they post, you would feel really bad, and like you'd feel all alone and be like, oh, I don't think they like me, or they're having so much fun without me. So I can see how you have a feeling of isolation. And also, I can relate to poor sleep. All of my friends can relate to poor sleep too, because we stay up so late on social media, especially TikTok, so I can relate to how I get poor sleep. After talking about the impacts of social media, I can see why parents don't want their kids to have it, or anyone in general. If you're thinking about getting social media, I would really consider carefully choosing on what to do. Now that we have talked about the impact of social media, we can see there are many different ways of impact. In conclusion, social media is great for businesses and friends, but it has a strength over our mental health and boredom.